If you're looking to learn something new, check out the adult education classes at the Newberry Library. The classes cover a range of topics in art, history, and literature and are open to anyone who wants to learn. The fall term is just getting started with classes on a variety of subjects from Madrid to Istanbul to Victorian Britain to Kurt Vonnegut. Courses are available in person and online, led by passionate expert instructors. Classes at the Newberry this fall will give you a lot to think about. Learn more and register at newberry.org. Look, I'm an early riser. Maybe I'm playing pickleball or at the gym, or I'm strolling through the farmer's market taking some pictures. Luckily, Huel Black Edition makes it easy to fuel up. Spelled Huel, Huel's Black Edition powder has got the protein, vitamins, and minerals to help you feel full and ready for the day. Me, I like to go on and mix it into my morning smoothie. And even if the blender is too much for you, they just dropped a super greens drink in a can, the Huel Daily Greens Ready to Drink. Try Huel with 15% off for new customers today using our code Chicago at Huel.com/Chicago. Fuel your best performance with Huel today. Today on CityCast Chicago, we are all on the hunt for a good deal these days. So today, we're talking about the best food, activities, and gifts for under $10 in the city. It's Wednesday, September 24th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago is talking about. I've got executive producer Simone Alisea in the building.
Hey, Jacoby.
Producer Michelle Navarro is here with us.
Hey, Jacoby.
And I'm very excited because it's the first day of our fall membership campaign, which means it's the time of the year when we ask you to become a CityCast Chicago neighbor and support your favorite podcast and newsletter well into the future. And if you're thinking, well, Kobe, this isn't my favorite podcast and newsletter. Well, you know what? That wasn't the point. That wasn't the point. Focus up. We ask you to come be a part of the neighborhood.
Be a part of the neighborhood. And I think it's fitting that today we're talking about the best stuff that you can find for $10 or less, because as it turns out, becoming a neighbor is one of those things. It costs $10 a month or $100 a year. And when you join, you can ensure that that we can keep bringing you the stuff you love, bringing you the podcast, bringing you the newsletter, bringing you lists of cheap stuff to find in Chicago. You can do it at membership.citycast.fm.
There is a lot of reasons why I think you should be a CityCast Chicago neighbor, but just a few. You get a daily newsletter and a daily podcast episode Monday through Friday with just vital information on what's going on in the city and sometimes even in your specific neighborhood. This will make you feel more connected, more informed, more Chicago. You're also supporting local journalists who are from the city, live in the city, love the city. And especially in a time where there's just misinformation everywhere, we want to be able to provide you with real sources, real Chicagoans, real news every day, Monday through Friday. And one of the last things, personally, I think that you will be the coolest person in your friend group if you become a CityCast Chicago neighbor, because you get to be the most educated, most informed about your city, about your people. And nothing really beats that. I mean, could we really put a price on that? Besides from all the news and the sources and the information, you get an invite to special member-only events, just like the birdwatching one we have coming real soon. We know that's valuable to you. And so please help us keep it going by becoming a member today.
I know you're already asking, where can you sign up? That's membership.citycast.fm. All right, let's jump into it. This episode is easy to conceptualize, right? $10 or less, enjoy the city. But then when you actually start looking for things that are $10 or less, and I don't want to just like make that category free. We was trying to get like between $1 and $10 where you'd actually have to pay some money. It's not as difficult as maybe I'm making it sound like, but it is a bit of a challenge.
It's not searchable. Yeah. It's not like super searchable. You're not going to, there's not a ton of lists. So we've kind of broken it down here into a few categories. And I think the first one we want to start with is food and drink. What can you get? Because I think it's hard to get a full calorically, significant meal for $10 or less in Chicago.
100%. Asian Cuisine Express, I was able to get damn near 12 tacos for like $20. And so
Yeah, because they have $1 taco night on
like
Mondays,
$1.50.
right?
So you can get at least, what is that? Like almost 6 tacos before tax. And so La Chaparrita, I went there. I think I only got 2 tacos, and that might have ended up being like $9. I want to say it was like $9.80. But you can get a good taco in the city. Most people is running them up where you're looking at like $6-7 for a single taco. But there's still a couple places out there where between $1.50 and $4, you can still get a little something.
La Chaparrita for sure. If you get $3 tacos on their menu.
Right, depending on what kind of filling you're getting.
Exactly. It depends on the meat, but you could get $3 tacos, which they have a couple on the menu that are $3.
I think some other classic cheap eats, a pizza slice usually will run you under $10, a pizza puff, 1 hot dog. But would I call any of those a meal? With no drink, no side, no nothing.
Right, no combo, no nothing. An Italian beef at like Nikki's will just be just past $10. But something that is a classic Chicago sandwich or burger, I should say, a Big Baby at Nikki's at Gage Park is $9.99.
Hey.
Another spot that has really cheap good burgers. This is nothing new. People love Red Hot Ranch. The Red Hot Ranch burger on the menu.
For some fast food where you do get the side, Super Dog. If you get the titular Super Dog, that comes with fries and it comes with the green tomato. No drink, but you get the hot dog with all the fixings and fries. So that one's not bad. That's $9.15 before taxes.
Maxwell's or like a Baba's, you can usually make out pretty good. Maxwell's, everything is still like chicken burrito is $6.50. Cheeseburger $4.50, $2 to add fries, boneless pork chop for $5.50. And so after tax, you probably gonna be staring right at $10. And then Baba's, most of their sandwiches are sort of $9.99, which obviously you're gonna pay over 10, but steak on pita, chicken hero, you can get 2 burgers for like $11.99, 2 cheeseburgers there. So there are a few spots like the more corner store variety or like that little Nikki's that's attached to like the Shell gas station. You can usually end up getting like a whole burger fry, maybe a Mystic or something for a little over $10.
Ragadan up here on Broadway in Uptown, you can get like a falafel sandwich, or Taste of Lebanon over here in Andersonville. You can get some stuff. Both of those, I think, are featured. The Infatuation has a list of sort of $10 meals. We also have a list of cheap eats downtown that we can link to in the show notes. One thing I was surprised by is that Jibaritos y Más, most of their standard jibaritos are $10.60, over $10, which was disappointing because I was really hoping to put a jibarito on this list.
We know we have hit inflation when my local Michoacana sells tortas for over $10, guys. Oof. Besides that, though, if you want ice cream or a paleta.
Yeah, let's move into desserts, because I do think that is a place where you can get some very good stuff, right? Well made, high quality for under $10. The trick is if you want just one thing for you, your average bakery, no matter how nice it is, you can find something that is going to definitely feel like a little treat.
You go to any Mexican panaderia, like go to any Mexican bakery, the ones that are self-serving, you have like the tray and the tongs.
Yes, so if you're actually buying for multiple people, that's where you want to go. Yeah.
I love stopping in and getting some old-fashioned donuts.
You could really make out like a bandit at old-fashioned donuts for $10.
Yeah, I'm finna say, I'm probably gonna grab like 2 glazed, maybe I was gonna say maybe a hot chocolate or something.
Yeah,
can't remember if
you get a coffee, right? I feel like you get a coffee and donut, right? For under $10.
Another spot that I love to go to for dessert, especially a late night dessert, is Legend Tasty House in Chinatown on Wentworth. This is hand rolled ice cream for under $10. It's like runs from like around $6 to $8, but everything else on their menu, there's so much stuff. There's milk tea, there's boba, milkshake, smoothies, all under most, if not all, under $10.
Chinatown features not infrequently on this list because it is still a place where you can find some really inexpensive stuff. I think Chi Cafe still has a lot of offerings too that are under $10.
I just never spend under $10.
I think that's the other thing though, is like when you go to a spot like that where stuff is cheap, you're like, well, let me get 4 or 5 things.
That's how I feel about
Exactly.
Sweet Bean, because the last few times I've gone, like middle of the day, and I'll grab, like, they got a vanilla cake and it's like a nice long loaf of cake and it's only like $4. But then I'm like, oh, let me grab this hot dog and cheese bun, and that's only like $4-5. But by the time I get to the counter, I've gotten $20 worth of things in my hand, including an orange and peach custard bun, some, was it yuzu glazed madeleines. Like, I end up grabbing 6 or 7 $4 items. But if I only wanted like maybe a lemonade and a hot dog bun, I could probably get away with like $11-12 there.
And you're talking about Sweet Bean in South Loop.
Yeah, right off Roosevelt and Wabash.
If you go there early enough in the morning, they'll have a bunch of packaged buns that they had from the day before at a discounted rate.
Last one in food and drink I want to talk about is cocktails, because I think finding a true cocktail for $10 or less in Chicago is just as hard, if not harder, than finding a full meal.
Yeah, I'm like, the only places I could think of off the top of my head had to be like around a happy hour. Like, I saw an Infatuation happy hour list recently where Bronzeville on Wednesday and Thursday got the $10 cocktails, and Salazzo over off 56 in Pulaski got $8 cocktails, $5 beers, $8 micheladas. So on a regular day, you might be hard pressed to find a $10 cocktail.
Happy hours are a good spot. I'm very particular about this because I feel like your average well drink, right, a rum and Coke or whatever, is not, for the most part, you can get one for under $10 in Chicago. Like, that's fine. Even like a margarita, you can find for under $10, depending on the spot. But I'm talking about like a cocktail that is actually crafted in some way. One spot I really like over here in Uptown, Fat Cat, they do a happy hour, and on Wednesdays it's Whiskey Wednesday. On Thursday they do Thursday martinis, and these are like true cocktails. You can get an old fashioned, you can get like different types of martinis, you can get a Manhattan, right? So like, I do think that's a pretty good deal, and those are $7 on those days.
What's too expensive for you for a cocktail? Because I remember the days of the $7, $8 cocktail that was as regular, and we're in the 15, 18 is normal now.
I will absolutely pay $20. I will pay $20 for a cocktail. I will. If the place is nice enough and the ingredients are fresh enough, and if it sounds interesting to me and I'm out here to have a time, I think
24 is my cap.
I was going to say, I'll probably pay 25. I'll probably pay 25.
I think $24 is probably my cap.
Bougie.
Yeah.
Yes, Jacoby and I are bougie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm past 18. I'm like kind of like, do I need this, or could I just get a high life? You know what I mean? Once I'm hitting at $18, but I agree, Simone. If the spot is really nice, if the music is good, and I'm like, I want to stay here, I definitely will splurge on a cocktail as well. But I think if those things aren't lining up, if I don't feel like the ambiance is $25 worth, I will not be paying that.
I'm going to pay it because I knew what I was getting myself into when I came here. So like a Meadowlark, a Kamiko. Like
especially if I know
I'm
only going to have one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to have 4 $20 cocktails. That's not going to happen.
I really like Little Victories in Wicker Park. So they have this deal. They have daily victories. So that means like $10 cocktails. So Monday, they have $10 Moscow Mules. Wednesdays, they have $9 daiquiris. And Thursdays, which is my favorite day to go, they have $10 palomas.
It's also worth, and we'll link to this as well. We talked earlier this year about Lauren Keene, a Lincoln Square resident who has been collecting on a spreadsheet cocktails that are under $8 around the city on Reddit. And so if you're looking for other happy hours and the like, that's a good spot to check.
I got a feeling a lot of you out there got some excellent people skills. Maybe you've worked in hospitality or customer service, or a job where you've had to listen, anticipate needs, and make somebody feel valued. Now, if that sounds like you, then you know how to put people first. And those are the same skills you need to become a successful realtor. Key part, successful. As a realtor, you wouldn't be starting from scratch. You'd be shifting your talents into a new role, one where you can set your own schedule, build new connections, and maybe even grow your earnings. If it sounds like real estate could be your next career move and you're like, but wait, where do I get started? We got you. Visit realtorsrealestateschool.com today to schedule your free career consultation. That's realtorsrealestateschool.com. Look, it's been a warm, mild September. Nobody, including myself, want to think about winter and the snow and the wind, but it is coming, my friends, and you're going to want to make sure your home is ready. So if you've been putting off replacing your old drafty windows and you can, now is the time to call Window Nation. And you really should do it now because time is running out on this Window Nation sale. Until September 30th, that's next week, when you buy 2 windows, you're going to get 2 for free. So you can get top quality, energy efficient windows at a reasonable price. Plus, installation only takes a day or less, so they're in, out, and you can get back to your day with brand new windows on your home. Don't miss out. Schedule a fast, free estimate now with the pros at Window Nation. Call 866-90-NATION or head to windownation.com. What's up, y'all? Jacoby Cochran, senior host of CityCast Chicago. If I had to guess, you already know that, which means from listening to this show, you also know how much I love my city, how much this team rides for Chicago. And honestly, one of the best parts is we love helping you understand the city, feeling more connected to it. Because at the end of the day, the only reason this show works is because of you. You're probably somebody who like to shop in their neighborhood whenever possible, right? You're probably somebody who keep their library card on them, who their friends and family come to for their opinion and their thoughts on the stories happening in and around the city. You know how I know this? Because that's me. So if this sounds like you, I'm going to invite you to join CityCast Chicago Neighbors. Our membership program is designed to help people just like you. You're going to get invites to members-only events, our curated weekly roundup of the best things to do in the city, and a chance to share your love for Chicago on our podcast. Plus, your membership directly supports the people making this show every single day so that we can keep bringing you the stories that matter most. Become a CityCast Chicago neighbor for $10 a month or $100 a year at membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. So while we're talking about all the best things you can get for $10 in Chicago, I want to remind you that one of those things is CityCast Chicago membership, because for $10 a month, you can become a neighbor. That's what we call our members. And you can help support this podcast and this newsletter to make sure we can stay here for another, if not 4 years, I'll take, 4 weeks, 4 months.
Yeah. I also, I think it's worth putting that in terms we can understand, is membership to something that connects you to this city, that makes you feel like a more informed Chicagoan, that, provides an avenue for learning about all the things that are happening here. Is that worth more than, one fancy cocktail a month? As Michelle said earlier, by listening to this show, you're already a good neighbor, right? You clearly value your connection to Chicago. But I think the perks of membership can actually help you feel even more connected to the city, right? So we offer, talking about events, right? You have the events preview that comes in your inbox, opportunities for you to get out and enjoy what Chicago has to offer, access to members-only events, an opportunity to meet like-minded Chicagoans, people who care about the city as much as you do. We have our neighborhood shout-outs. That's where we members send in local businesses and organizations that we then shout out on the podcast and newsletter, right? You are sort of quite literally putting everybody on to those things that you love and that you love about Chicago. You're spreading the word. And I would argue that even ad-free listening makes you a better neighbor because, look, you get to get that time back. If you don't have to listen to the ads, that's time back that you can use for other things.
If you're one of those people who are like, nah, this helps me get out stay tapped in, constantly meeting new people, doing cool things, then, I'd argue $10 a month is a little bit of a bargain now. A little bit of a bargain.
There's only one perk that you can get during this fall campaign, and that is our new City Cash Chicago Neighbors Make Chicago tote bag. I'm a trinket girly. I always need to take a bag with me everywhere to carry my trinkets and possibly a bunch of things that I'll buy for under $10 now. But I would say that getting this tote, not only will you be able to spot other loyal City Cash Chicago neighbors, but you could be cool and support local journalism and keep us going and contribute to this project that we've been working on and we want to keep working on. So this makes it the perfect moment to be a member right now.
Michelle, where can they do it?
Membership.citycast.fm.
Get the perks, get the tote bag. Of course, give us some of your coin and make sure we can stick around for a little bit. It's just transactional, but we actually giving y'all some stuff now. We giving y'all some stuff.
You're going to get the tote and all those other perks I mentioned. So membership.citycast.fm.
All right, let's get back into trying to enjoy this city for $10 or less. Obviously, it has been a bit of a challenge. Even some of our food items was like, $11, $12. Maybe like 14 after tax. That's close to $10. Round down. But what about some activities in and around the city?
You know what I think is interesting, Jacoby, is I think it's actually easier to find free activities than it is to find cheap activities. Because there's like stuff that we talk about a lot on the show that I think a lot of people know, right? Taking advantage of free museum days, the conservatories, Garfield Park and Lincoln Park, the Lincoln Park Zoo, all the outdoor stuff, various nature sanctuaries, things like that. Taking advantage of the Chicago Public Library. They do a ton of events. They also have digital passes, free museums like the National Museum of Mexican Art. But it's actually much harder to sort of find like a one-off thing or sort of stuff that is that is like consistent. Yeah, that is really consistent.
I think one thing even as you were talking, one thing we should remind ourselves is while a lot of these things are free, they will also take your donation. Like the conservatory is free, but like it, technically that could be a $10, $5 activity if you want it to be. And so next time you go to the National Museum of Mexican Art or DuSable or something on a free day, or, in the case of some of these museums that are free all the time, don't ignore the part where they say, hey, donate suggested donation. If you got it, we'll take it.
Same thing with neighborhood festivals, Jacoby. You gotta.
Hey, I donated this year.
I gave more money this summer.
I donated this year. I did.
I gave more money this summer.
Not gonna lie though, I was a little discriminatory. I did not give any money to any North Side festivals. All my money went to local South Side festivals. Probably every single South Side street festival I went to. So that was my goal, and I accomplished.
Gave more money to
That's good.
79th Street Renaissance Festival. I gave money for the Puerto Rican Pride Parade. Yeah, I'm with you, Michelle. That episode got me at the beginning of the summer. And so just because something said free on it, I tried to make sure if there was opportunity for me to give a little money, I gave a little bit.
Referencing there to the fact that a lot of festival organizers came out at the top of the summer and just talked about sort of how much more expensive it has become to put these festivals on. It's harder to book, really good talent. It's harder, it's just really, really tough. And, a lot of organizers sort of sounding the alarm of decreasing donations at the gate. Before we get into actual cheap stuff, one free thing that I feel like not enough people know about, and this is especially great if you have people coming into town, is Chicago Greeter Tours. So this is done by Choose Chicago. And basically you can reserve a tour for free with one of their local greeters. This is just a person who is really into Chicago stuff. They really know the neighborhood really well. They know the buildings, etc. And you can reserve it for up to 6 people. And then you don't have to do it just downtown. You could do it. We talked to a Chinatown greeter a couple years ago, and I think kind of a slept on thing.
Usually when you go to a bar, you expect to go in for free. But when bars have live music, it's always really special to pay a really cheap cover so that you can, get a drink and watch something cool. I know that at Lemon, they usually have live music, a lot of jazz there. And typically the tickets run from $5 to $10, which is so cheap, to watch a jazz group. And I think it's definitely worth it to go to one of those shows.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're going to make up for that in cocktails because those cocktails are not cheap. A couple other ones I like where you can usually find a cheap cover. Green Mill, also here in Uptown on Broadway, of course, for live jazz. Some of them are a little more expensive. It's like a name, but a lot of those daily shows, nightly shows are about $10. And then The Drifter, which is the speakeasy that's inside of the Green Door, has an $8 cover. Again, those cocktails are pretty pricey, but there's like when I went, there's like a live burlesque show that happens like every 30 minutes or whatever. And so, I think for sort of like drinking a show, like I think because there are a lot of I think cover charges are out of control, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no live music, if there's no extra like reason why I should pay, if I'm already gonna go in there, like you said, to buy drinks, if you don't give me any other reason to go in there, I'll just go to the next bar.
Even DJs, like I charging $20 cover for a DJ.
Ooh, I might disagree.
Yeah,
No,
I won't do it.
It's gotta be
never
multiple.
one DJ. It's never one DJ. We're so lucky to be in a city like Chicago where there's so much like music curation events where, DJ groups or like DJ collections will have 2 to 3, 4 DJs. And, if you like them and they're all going to be the same kind of vibe, same kind of energy, and so rare to find for something for under $10 nowadays.
I would much prefer to see, I would pay a lot more for live music, for performed music. That's just me. That's just my disposition, especially if I know I have a seat.
I was going to say the standard like open mic price for like a Grown Folk Stories, a Luya Poetry, a Respect the Mic is $10. And those are all like
there's a lot of free open mics too.
Yeah, a lot of free ones, but the ones that
like for
do
comedy
charge,
or music too,
they usually don't go over like $10. Like I could think of some free ones like Suge and Jam. But if you wanted to bring a drink, like if you want to bring in alcohol, you'd have to pay a cover.
Oh, interesting.
But then a lot of the other ones, like a Grown Folk Stories, which is this Thursday, that's held at the Promontory. So you pay $10, and then again, the cocktails will sort of run you from there.
The trade-off, though, of course, with an open mic is you really don't know what you're going to get. And again, sometimes you go to an open mic and like someone's amazing, and you're just like, oh man, I'm really glad I saw this. And sometimes, you're sitting there. I think another spot that gets slept on as like an activity, a thing to do, Douglas Park mini golf. The mini golf course, it's 18 holes, first of all. It's big. And it's only $5 per person per game. And that is open Thursday through Saturday. Yeah, it's very inexpensive. And I just feel like there are so many like hip, like putt bar type things opening up, like over here on the north side and like River North and the like. And I just feel like I always want to show some love to, because this was a mini golf course. I think it was designed by students. It's bird themed, public park. We love it. Some other performances, or another good way to kind of get some cheap tickets or free tickets to performances, is a lot of comedy venues in Chicago will have free passes for stuff. Like if you go to see a show, they will often try to entice you back to more shows by giving you some kind of free pass, or if you get on a mailing list or something like that. Zanies does this, Lincoln Lodge does this, Laugh Factory does a version of this. Again, some of those spots have drink minimums, so they're gonna make it back there. I think Laugh Factory in particular, I know for sure does. But Lincoln Lodge does not have a drink minimum, so if you end up getting one of their passes, you don't have to necessarily pay for the drinks there. But that's sort of another. I used to do that when I was going to comedy shows like really regularly. I took advantage of that a lot.
All right, cool. So we got some food in us. We got some ish to do. What about trinkets? What about gifts? What about you trying to go shopping? Take something home with you. Where are you going where you could spend roughly $10?
My favorite spot to go for gifts, trinkets, things that I know are going to be cute and useful and my friends are going to love them, but I'm not breaking the bank, is definitely the shops in Chinatown. In Chinatown Square, particularly, there's AJ Hardwares. And so if you're ever at Chinatown Square, it's kind of very close to the middle section. And they have everything from stuffed animals to little statues to trinkets. One of my favorite things that I get at Chinatown is fans, like just like a hand fans.
Like a hand fan, yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, they're the most amazing thing. I was just at Easy Does It this weekend, and it was the MVP of the night. And so that's something that's so fun. It was $5, and it's a good fan. But there's so many things you could do. I get a lot of stuffed animals, a lot of keychains from these places, cute dishware, cups. There's a lot of houseware stuff in there that you can purchase. And so I love going to places. Other spots, down Wentworth, which I think down Wentworth has a lot of special little shops too. EK Souvenirs and Grace Grocery. These are also places you can find. This is also a good place that if you have friends in town and they want to get like silly Chicago stuff, like trinkets, keychains, Swiss Army knife, like whatever you want to get with Chicago on it. This is such a good place to go because, you know, you're not getting those downtown tourist store prices.
I got a LaFufu from EK Souvenirs. Last time I was in Chinatown, which had to be like 2 weeks ago, because I also stopped by Windtime Jewelry, where since I first learned about this place, I've stopped in every time I go just to like look through the rings and the bracelets. It's all like, I think each piece is like $10 essentially.
Yeah. Well, they have some kind of deal that's like 3 for $10.
Yeah, they'll extend it for you right in front of you and add a couple clasps on it. And so if I'm ever looking for something of a particular color, like just something baby blue or something, I'll go in there and look around.
I think these days, one of the things we kind of had on this list is like, oh, you might be able to find some of these for $10, or like secondhand books.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's not always the case. Like, I think there's a lot of just because books are really expensive.
I would say the book sections of thrift stores are always the best spot.
Yes. As opposed to going to a secondhand book shop. Yeah.
Exactly. And of course, always, I would love if you gave your money to secondhand bookstores because they are so necessary. Not everyone can buy new books. I don't buy new books. Rarely do I ever buy new books. And so supporting secondhand shops is great. But if you ever just need, you know, a classic.
Or like a coffee table book. You can find some like cool coffee table books in thrift stores. Yeah.
Another used thing I like in terms of digging through the crates is I like going to Hyde Park Records and seeing, usually it's in a crate outside of the store. They'll have some like really discounted records, but even inside, they got like old magazines. They have like an old comic book crate. And like right when you walk into Hyde Park Records, it kind of feels like I'm in like one of my auntie's sub basement, because there's like a lot of like metal art, like old black statues, like a bunch of shit that my granny would have like sitting on like a little trinket counter. Honestly, I think between those 3 categories, things to do, things to buy, things to eat, I think we got a fair amount of free things to do in the city and a good amount of pretty close to $10, up or down a few bucks here and there, right?
Taxes not included, right?
Here's my last question is, how do you feel the stuff we've talked about today compares to a City Cash Chicago membership?
I think they all on the same level. There's a few things that's under it. Like, you know, I think you can forego maybe I don't know. Now I was finna say 2 pizza puffs, but I was like, actually, that sounds damn good right now. But I do think we are offering more value than your standard, like iced coffee and 2 pizza puffs with a dry fry, because mild sauce is extra. I think we are far more valuable than that, on par, closer with like a day at the library or like a day at the conservatory. But even then, you know, we had 1,100 episodes and like a ton of lists that we update every single day. I don't know if the Garfield Park Conservatory is hidden quite like that. It's fire. It's fire. But I don't know if it's offered.
We love the plants. We love it.
I don't know if the Cactus Room is putting it down quite like that.
But you could do both. It is free, right? Like you could listen to a CityCast Chicago episode while you peruse the conservatory.
Mhm.
Yes, that's the other right. You could do both. You
Yeah.
could go out. You could be on the train, you know, listening, going to the free thing that we told you about, listening to an episode where we explain how the city budget works. Like you get all of it at once. It's so you could be the most Chicago
Mhm.
if you became a member at membership.citycast.fm.
I want to give a huge thank you to executive producer Simone Alisea
Hey, thanks, Jacoby.
and producer Michelle Navarro.
Thanks, Jacoby.
I also want to give a huge thank you to all of our newest members, our newest neighbors. Shout out to Adelisa T, Isaac J, Leah O, Matt G, and Tanner P for becoming CityCast Chicago neighbors. Again, your support helps to make sure this podcast and this newsletter can keep coming out for the free Monday through Friday, direct to your inbox and wherever else you get in your podcast. We try to thank all of our new members on the show. So if you join this week, you might hear your name here. That's just one of the perks you get from supporting us, in addition to ad-free listening, access to members-only events. So don't wait. And some extra urgency, you will get our brand new CityCast Chicago Neighbors tote bag. And that is, you can sign up to become a neighbor whenever you want. But that tote bag, we only got so many of those. So after next week, they're going to be gone, right? These editions, they come and they go very quickly, so get in on it. Join our community of neighbors at membership.citycast.fm. Before we get out of here, some good news. I'm gonna be real. The only reason I put these two events next to each other is the alliteration. You got Beats, Brains, and Balance at DuSable Museum this week, and Birds, Bikes, and Beats at Big Marsh Park this weekend. I will drop a link in the show notes for both of these. As always, we appreciate you for listening, reading, becoming a neighbor. We're gonna be back bright and early tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Peace.